The Network Nonprofit, which was the title of my first book, co-authored with Allison Fine, really talked about the different ways that nonprofits need to work in this sort of age of connectivity. So in a nutshell, it's kind of working less like an isolated institution, more like a network. So the idea was, don't just be on Facebook, but work like Facebook. And so what that meant was, is that nonprofits need to have a social culture, have everyone have a presence on social networks, do listening, engagement, and building relationships. And also, it was sort of a more adaptable, more transparent and agile way of working. And of course, then the tools, they were social media ninjas, and all of this with the idea of changing the world. One of the big aha moments for me was interviewing an organization, Moms Rising, which is trying to make the U.S. a more family-friendly place with their policies. And what was really amazing to me at the time, this was about a year ago, I asked them, how do you measure success? And they weren't just saying likes on Facebook or the number of retweets. They were really talking about their overall organizational goals, results like building the movement, better relationships with aligned partners, getting policy and legislation passed. And they have certain metrics for everything they do that relate to those specifics. And the really interesting thing that Moms Rising does is that they have a weekly meeting on Monday, and it's called Metrics Monday. That's why I want to call it Metrics Monthly Monday, but it's Metrics Weekly Monday. And they've been doing this for a few years, where the staff just sits down and they review their metrics for the week. And not only just look at the numbers, they look at, well, why are open rates down? Or why do we get a lot of retweets on this particular tweet? All with the lens of helping them move forward their key results. So these are Katie Payne's 7 steps of measurement. It was a transformative framework for me, and it helped me get over my fear of measurement, because they're really simple. So define your goals. So you got to figure out what your success is. Define your audience. Define your benchmarks. Okay, so a benchmark, you're never measuring in a vacuum. You're always measuring in comparison to something else. And in that case, the something else would be another similar type of nonprofit. And you don't have to do the industry study. I just got an email from somebody saying, what are the industry standards for, libraries? And thinking that they had to do a whole industry benchmark. You don't. You can do a couple of others, 2, 3, 4, 5 other organizations. The next is defining what your key performance metric is, a KPI, and that's basically the evidence that's going to tell you whether or not you're making progress along the way. And there shouldn't be too many of those. They should just be a couple of those. And that's where, when you're doing the art of measurement, that's where you really want to spend a lot of time talking about what is success and what's the evidence, or what are the indicators that we know that we're meeting our success. And so then you select your data collection tools, because different measurement tools collect different types of data, and you'll be using different types of data to measure your success. And then the most important part, which is sitting down and actually looking at your data and making sense of it, the sense-making piece. And, data is like fresh bread. It's best when it's hot out of the oven. So you want to always have your recent data with you as you're making decisions about different programs. And then it's rinse and repeat. The measure everything approach is like, if you don't know what to measure and you're hoping somehow that your data is like tea leaves and it's going to tell you, the gospel and the truth, or else it's going to tell you, that you're, which way to go. But it's not. It can be exhausting to measure everything. And I see lots of bloated spreadsheets, and you get so exhausted collecting the data, you just don't have any time to even look at it. I do think that some organizations collect a lot of just in case and collect everything data because, sometimes their funders are asking for it. And I would love to know what the funders do with it, but I really believe that you should only collect what you really need to know on whether or not you've been successful. First of all, is understand what what the skepticism is about. Is it, I guess it also depends who, but is it denial? I don't have time for this. Then, okay, you don't have to measure the world. Just, find the most important things to measure. Is it fear? Oh my God, I'm going to find out that my program's not successful and all my time and effort, and it's going to be so shameful. Well, that's a hard one because, we're not, we're taught at a young age that we, get the right answer and not to make mistakes, but, mistakes are your best teachers, and mistakes are what lead to dramatic and exciting outcomes. And then there's the confusion stage, and I think that's what the book can help do, because we worked really hard to find, very clear, practical advice that nonprofits can put into action. Then there's another stage, and I call it data delight, and that's, hey, look at my charts and graphs. And that's, if you find yourself wanting to just play and visualize the data, really go back to those 7 steps and figure out, what are we measuring? What does success look like? And what you want to do is to get to the top, which is being data informed, where you're constantly asking, what does the data say? And how can I use this to get better results?